Gregg Berhalter.
It's time to go!
The news dropped today. As a U.S. men's soccer fan, it is great news. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't like to see people lose their jobs and, negative stuff. But hey, he's paid well, and the U.S. men's soccer team has sucked.
To say, get that son of a bitch off the field right now. Out. He's fired.
So this is what he deserves. Now he can go to, vacation, right? Or coach or whatever. And then we're also going to touch on the second semifinal that went on today between England and the Netherlands. This is Football Focus. We talk about sports, soccer, football, you name it. We might try to explain it. Good old Berhalter, gone as the U.S. men's national coach. Thank you, but goodbye. Berhalter posted a 44-13 and 17 record over 74 matches with the U.S. men's national team. His 44 wins are the third most by a U.S. men's manager of all time, trailing only Bruce Arenas with 81 wins and Jurgen Klinsmann with 55 wins. I don't even want to put that into perspective. Most of the time, the U.S. men's is not playing top competition. So with the players that we have, I personally think that we should have way more wins and play better. But so does U.S. men's national team, and that's why they let him go.
Go to our LA studio that was going to reflect on what happened last night in Copa America, but breaking news regarding Gregg Berhalter said.
That's right, Dan. Our former colleague, Doug McIntyre, is now over at Fox Sports reporting that Gregg Berhalter is out as manager of the U.S. men's national team. It's obviously something we've been talking about since they went out in the group stage of the Copa America. Your first thoughts?
Expected. I think
Definitely expected. I mean, yeah, if you've been watching the U.S. men's, they have been dismal. They have been sad to watch, boring to watch, knowing the potential that we do have, right? Sure, some of those players may not be starters, but hey, we do have some ballers in our team, and then we should at least look much better than we do. We know what's coming, World Cup, and it's going to be here. So we want to do something, okay? So it's good to see that the U.S. men's higher-ups actually give a shit.
many expected this to happen as soon as the report that there would be some news midweek came out. You assumed it would be that Gregg Berhalter would be replaced as U.S. men's national manager, and this is what we're seeing right now. First off, you never want to see anybody lose their job, right? But there was a clear regression from the time that Gregg Berhalter took over in the second term to this Copa America and the results and how this team had played, or the lack of results, I should say. So it was expected, and now the hard part comes for U.S. soccer and these players, because many of these players vouched for Gregg Berhalter. They're just as much responsible for these results and what happened to Gregg Berhalter as Gregg Berhalter is for what happened to him in his position. So,
fair analysis. Players are to blame to a degree as well. They're the ones that are on the field actually doing it. It definitely helps when they're in a system, and I feel like that system was not provided for them. But yeah, sometimes the U.S. men's national team, being that we're not always playing top competition and some of the players play on better domestic league teams, I do feel that they don't take some of their opponents seriously, being Panama, Bolivia, and we saw those results.
all I could say is this was the expected move.
Did the Federation get it right, Casey?
Well, time will tell. Depends on who they replace him with. And obviously that must have been the idea. It was pretty frosty when they rehired him from the fans because they felt that there was maybe something better, to Herc's point, to take it further forward. So when they elected that this was the best option they had at that time, it was always going to be under pressure. We've seen that from, I think, the last 3-4 managers, that it was so difficult to replicate that first round into the second round, and results weren't what they needed to be. And we know it's a results business. And when U.S. Soccer made the announcement that we're going to look into this and give you notice in 10 days or whatever, I think we all pretty much knew what that meant.
You surprised, Dolly?
No, what I'm surprised is how somber this mood is here at Football Americas, because quite frankly, I thought that Football America rejoices with Gregg Berhalter being out.
I promise you one thing. We are rejoicing. I think they handled it with poise, being the fact that they're alive. But inside, I know their hearts are pressing. I know they're happy that this is happening. Of course, who are we going to get? I mean, we're probably not going to get any of these crazy people like Klopp. I mean, come on, Klopp from Liverpool to U.S. men's. I mean, I don't see it. But I feel like whoever we get, at least should be better than Gregg. And I just like the fact that we're at least taking that positive step, noticing that we're not playing well, noticing that we're not doing well, and making something happen. Obviously, you can't just eliminate all the players, right? So coach has got to go. What are your thoughts, though? Leave them in the comments down below. Do you think that he should have gotten fired? Are you happy that he got fired? And who do you expect to come in? Let me know. Hopping into the Euros now. We had that semifinal, England versus the Netherlands. Yo, solid game. Another game where we had multiple goals in the first 20 minutes. And like I said, as a football supporter, you can't be mad when that happens. I mentioned this in the last video. I felt that England would ease in there somehow. That Memphis Depay injury definitely stifled the Netherlands because he was their outlet guy. So now they lost him, and then they really had no answer to the midfield situation that England was presenting. So it's in one of those cases where I would say Southgate really nailed this one. Of course, sure, people still don't like him, especially the England fans. I definitely saw some specific changes, at least with the Mino and Foden picking up the ball more, and Jude Bellingham kind of being a little more forward and not really in the build-up play. So that definitely helped. I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but it was noticeable to see, and they definitely controlled the ball throughout. Now, Netherlands scored the first goal with the Rice giveaway, which in a sense, it was kind of expected. I felt like England hadn't really played a dominant opponent as far as like specific players that are really good or pretty good. And very quickly, they went down. And then I don't know if it was England or the refs that changed this game. Most definitely the refs. VAR has to step in, and you know, these are moments where I feel that football is dying, and it's just, this is never a penalty. And then if you're someone who's played soccer for a long time, you're going to know that this isn't a penalty, and it's just things like this that kind of suck. And England definitely got away with one, and they were definitely given this gift. After they were given their gift, momentum swung, and they kept it the whole entire game. Then Memphis Depay went injured, and then they definitely had more of the momentum. I do feel like the referees missed a lot of calls in this game. Of course, no one can be perfect, but this referee's been caught match fixing before. I'm not saying that that happened, but man, I do wish that the refereeing could be better. Or it's like, if you're going to use VAR, sometimes you might as well use it all the time. So that moment where the Netherlands should have got the corner kick, I mean, it should be reviewed and they should get the kick. I think maybe that'll slow the game down, but I don't know. With the computer and AI nowadays, I'm pretty sure that they can make something work that's a lot more better, that's going to help the officiating. Just because, man, VAR sometimes is just honestly horrible. Yeah, we hop into the second half. Again, a lot of it was controlled by England. Of course, substitutions, which were the key in this game, that's where the tide really, really turned. And I'm sure most England supporters, I mean, myself, as an avid soccer watcher, I did not expect Ali Watkins to go on for Kane at that time in the game. Maybe Kane doesn't want to take PKs, not too sure. But seeing him and Foden go off was quite surprising. Foden was definitely one of the best players on the pitch today. Gareth Southgate also silences all the haters again, strategy, and it worked out perfect. I think Palmer Palmer going in is totally fine because he's a baller. So it worked out. Palmer gave the assist to Watkins, who, man, when he got that shot off, I did not expect it to go in, and credit to the guy. And yeah, that's awesome to see. England are through. I think they're going to get absolutely smoked by France. I mean, maybe not like 4-0, but I'm thinking 3-1. 4-1. Spain's going to control the ball the whole game. And I think Spain is not here to play any games. And if anybody can get some VAR calls, it's Spain. Of course, throughout this tournament, Spain overall has played better opponents. So I definitely think they're well ready for the game. I do feel that England definitely had an easy draw throughout. Of course, they finally went up against a tough opponent, being the Netherlands, and they squeaked through with the gift from these gentlemen. But hey, that is how the cookie crumbles sometimes. And hey, it is what it is. But what are your thoughts? Did you think England deserved this win? Do you think the Netherlands deserved this win? Do you think that the referee should have done better? What are your thoughts? Leave them down below. It could actually be coming home.
Ollie Watkins, we love you! We love you! We love you! We're in the final unless we screw this up, which is not beyond us, but we are in the final!
We got Spain, we got England. Who do you think is going to win? This is Football Focus. We talk about sports analysis, you name it, football, soccer. We try to explain it. If you made it this far, I really appreciate you watching. Let me know if you're vibing with this content or not. And until next time, later.
You did it! We knew those changes would work! Gareth Southgate, genius, genius, genius!